Hello everyone, and you join me back today for yet another 5 Series video, because the problem is this. Charging fault. So first things first, before we do anything, I'm going to show you how we diagnose this issue, and then I'll show you how we go about changing out the alternator. So as you all may or may not know, the battery is located in the boot. So what we want to do now is we want to get our multimeter. If you can try and get one, we want to set it to DC, direct current, and then we want one prong on the negative. I'm doing this a bit ski with, it'll be easier for you guys, I'm just doing it one-handed. And then we want one here. Then when we look at our reading, we're only getting 11.4 volts. Really, we want 13 or 14. Anything below 12 isn't really that great. So that tells us that we're not getting a good charge. So we want to doubly confirm this and just head over to the alternator at the front. And this is where it gets a bit tricky for me in particular, because obviously trying to film and do this at the same time. Here is our alternator down there. It will focus on it just with that black cable coming out. You see that plug? So now it's going to get my probe. The cable just down there, it will, yeah, there we go. The cable just there. We want to put our positive there, and we're going to set our negative somewhere else. We want our negative here on this ground. So, if we can, I'm trying to balance it so I can show you while I'm recording. I don't know if it's going to work out, that might work. And I'm going to go down there. So there we go, I've got that on there, the positive on the alternator, and we are again reading 11.3. So we definitely have a poorly alternator. So like with any alternator you do on any car, first you've got to get to the battery and disconnect it. This one, I've already had this panel out, but it just, you lift the carpet up on the floor, the bottom pulls out, and then you just move it out of the way like so, and then that gives you access to your battery. So now we take the negative terminal off first. Like so. Chuck that somewhere out the way. And a lot of people won't really bother taking the positive off. I like to, just to make sure I've fully isolated the battery. And if you want to be extra safe, you can just wrap something around the connectors to make sure they don't make contact with the battery again. But again, this is me just being really over the top. So now we've done that, we're safe to go in the engine and attempt to disconnect the alternator. So first things first, you want a 5 Allen. You can just use standard Allen key or one of these little Allen bits. And there's usually 4, I've only got 3 on mine. Just to get this out of the way and give it a bit more room. And after you've done that, there's just an 8mm. Now we've removed all those. Just remove the oil cap. And this should just pull off. What I usually like to do is just put everything back. So the cap and bolts, just so I don't lose them. So now our next focus is this. You need to take this off, and it's just held in by Torx. You've got 2 big boy Torx there, small T27s around the edge. So these 2 are T45s. And the others are T30s. Once you've got this loose, you just simply pull it out and then leave it with the engine, because these cables are attached. So we'll put this somewhere just out the way, and now we need to take this section off. These are in fact a T25. And then the same on this side as the other side, one on the top, one on the bottom. Okay, so it should now just lift up. Expose our radiators. The next thing is we need to take this fan off. So to do that, we need to disconnect this plug here by pinching on both sides and pulling up. And then we simply pull the fan. Be careful of this pipe, you've got to work around this pipe a bit. Just fiddly and not a nice job. Because it does feel like you're going to bust the radiator. But you just have to take your time, be careful. And she comes out. Right, now when you're at this stage, we're about to take the belt off, so I'd strongly recommend you get a picture of how the belt sits. And also, while you're here and you're taking the belts off, I would probably recommend you change them as well while they're off, if they're in bad condition. I've not long changed mine, so I'm going to keep mine as they are. So I believe it's this 24mm bolt here that is your tensioner. Another thing to be mindful of, I want to be really careful of this radiator, because if you catch this, you're going to damage the fins. Then you're going to need a new radiator as well. It's anti-clockwise. And then just pull the belt off somewhere, take it off one cog, and then that should free it up from the rest of them. You don't have to take the belt fully off if you've already changed it. If you do with the AC belt, just get a screwdriver in between the belt and then get a ratchet to crank it round. Now we are at a stage where we have to do the power steering pump. Right, so we start with this one at the top, which is a 13. I do think all these bolts are different sizes as well, so you want to make sure you keep an eye on what's coming out. For myself and for you guys, that's what comes out the top of the power steering. So let me just try and give you a better look. So if we look here, you see where my socket goes in, you see where the bolt that we brought out was. The bolt that we brought out was here, and the one is just below. Let me try and get you down in there so you can properly see. Just there, look. And the bottom one is a little smaller, that looks like that. Yep, it is in fact a 10mm, and just to show you, there's the bottom one we took off, and it's just beside it there, look. Just take the socket off now that you can see. I'm quite sure that is assisting to hold that. So yeah, that's part of the same bracket, and there's the alternator. Looks like we'll need that AE bit there, and that idler pulley down there is going to have to be removed. Another E bit there, so the alternator doesn't look too bad. So far, the power steering pump, we have 13 at the top, 13 in the middle, and a 10 at the bottom. And there we go, that's a nice indication that we have progress. Always nice when something just drops like that, and it doesn't put up a fight. And that's suspected is a very long one. So, long 10 at the bottom. Right, so now we can move this. So it is raining a bit now, so I'm going to try and get a move on with this. But this connector just lifts up and pulls off. There we go. Just take a bit of encouragement. That just pulls off like that, and then we just have a nut down the bottom there. Don't know how well you can see it. Holds the cable on. Has to be a 13. There we go. And that is a little nut that you need to get off the alternator that connects the electrical cable. Right, so just to show you, there is the connector for the alternator, and that little thread there is where the nut came off. And here is the wire. Just pop that back there. If you follow that along, there's a little clasp where the wire connects in. Take it out of the clasp and away you go. Right, so I don't know how well you can see, but this is the idler pulley. It needs to come off. This one here at the bottom, and there's just a plastic cap on top of it. And when you take that plastic cap off, it will expose the tools. It's a T50. And there is the idler pulley that we need to come off. Just show you, the plastic cap literally just goes over the top of it like that and clips in. Then you just pull it off whenever you need to gain access. Now it's just a case of trying to get the alternator off. It has the E bits, but I only have standard sockets. I've tried a little bit with the standard socket, but it doesn't feel like it wants to go. There's actually a 6 Allen key, and it's a pulley just above it. So this one here. This is the other one, just that Allen key there. Now we can gain access to that second bolt. Okay. That is the bottom bolt for the alternator, very long. Now to try and get the top one out. I've made a bit of a mess of that. I managed to get the bottom one off with a standard socket, but I tried this top one with a standard socket and I made that. So I went out and got myself the proper one, which is this. And this is a E12. So I'd strongly recommend just start with that. It's honestly not worth the hassle of just using a regular socket, because you're going to mash it up and then you'll never be able to get it out. Right, and this is the top bolt out. You can see the damage. I've knackered it a little bit. I just have to see how we go with it. Probably would be better to get a new bolt, but we'll see. So now that's loose, it's just a case of disconnecting it from there, the mount, fiddling around with it up and down, trying to get this power steering pump somewhere where it's out the way and you don't damage any lines, because that's another tricky thing. So far I've disconnected this clip that holds on the coolant hose. Yeah, we'll see how we can get it out. I'm going to try and get that out through this gap here. Whether it's going to go or not, I don't know, but it's just trial and error sort of thing. Right, don't even ask me how I did that, because I don't even know, but you've got to get that power steering pump through this gap. I pressed down on these hoses to sort of help me. I've removed the nuts for the power steering reservoir. Now hopefully we can just drag this out. I'm not going to record for this bit because it's going to be a bit awkward. I need two hands. We are victorious, and unlike all the other videos I could find online about this, I have found a solution, and I'm going to tell you, unlike the rest of them, because they don't seem to tell you. So this, hopefully, I'm really hoping I've done no, I don't think I've done any damage there. Got to be so careful with this. You got to take the coolant expansion tank bolts out, which are here and here, and then you can move this, because this pipe gets in the way. If you're not careful, you really will break this. I don't think you can really lift this up. I'm not sure if there's a pipe underneath it. I think it could be on a grommet. Oh, it is on a grommet there, connected to the ABS module. So that's the alternator out. Now for you guys it won't take long, but for me I've got to wait a day until I get a new alternator. So we're going to see how that goes. Just honestly be really careful with this, because it's so easy to catch something, and the last thing you want to do is give yourself another job to do. Right, so we're on another day. I've got my new alternator and I popped it in. The way I sort of got it in there is just look for the smallest side. It went in basically how it's sat now, and I just squidged this pipe in a little, and then now it's just a case of you want to make sure you've got everything back on. There's two cables that connect there where that nut is on the back, obviously the electrical connector. If you disconnected this electrical connector down here, make sure that's reconnected. We're going to have to make sure the coolant reservoir is back in place, the power steering is back in place, both the reservoir and the pump, and then we can start putting the belt back on and the fan, and then get all that done, and we'll start her up and see what sort of voltage we're getting. So that is the belt back on, the fan back on, and all the plastics. As you can see, the nice new alternator down there, it's down there that well you can barely even see it. So now I've just got to put the bonnet catch system in and the engine cover. I'm not that bothered about the engine cover, I'll probably do that last, but I need to connect the battery and then see what voltage we're getting, and hopefully we're back up to about 13-14 volts while running, but we're going to have to see. Okay, so we are back here. I'm just going to put a negative on the negative, put the posi on the posi, and we have exactly what we should have, which is 14.6 this time. And with that, I feel like we have definitely cured our issue. So that is how you change an alternator on a BMW E60. I hope it goes as smooth-ish for you guys as it did for me. The alternator I ended up getting was a Fabi Bilstein one off eBay, not from Parts Factor, and that cost me £160. Most auto factors were asking 300 to 400, so we'll see how it goes.